Third reason, social support. The psychological literature is clear that successful people tend to have strong social support. And in Justin Bieber's case, he has two parents who seem to love him and care about him a lot and have been good role models for him. You hear the most about his mother, but he also seems to have a strong relationship with his father. And I don't know a ton about his parents. Well, more about his mother. There's been a fair amount written about her. They seem to be good people who have strong values and have taken parenting seriously and support their son, and that means a lot. In addition, he, I think, has been fortunate to associate with a manager who knows his stuff and has guided him very well. That's Scooter Braun, as he's known, and he also serves as a good role model. In addition to people like Usher and many of the people on his team, he's collected a group of adults primarily who are serving as good role models for him. Some of whom, like Usher, were young stars who've made the transition into adulthood. And all of that bodes well for his Justin Bieber's long-term success. So the third reason that I think Justin Bieber's going to have a long, prosperous career is he has a lot of strong social support, which he relies on. I mean, he could just reject it. He does a little bit, like any 16-year-old probably would. But by and large, he does listen to his team and follow their advice and guidance. The fourth reason is that Justin has media savvy, and that's pretty obvious from the way he launched his career, not even really intending to, from all accounts, by his mother posting videos on YouTube. At some point, Justin realized that he was attracting a following, and he started to respond to that following. And again, this relates back to the interpersonal intelligence that I mentioned earlier. But in addition to that, he has knowledge of the current media outlets and how to use them in a synchronous fashion to be able to stay connected with his fan base and build his fan base. Twitter and Facebook are the obvious examples, and video. But he's also effectively used radio interviews, television interviews, guest appearances, talk shows, live appearances. He really is all over the place when it comes to the media. Magazines. He was just on the cover of People recently. So he understands what some scholars call the transmedia environment. He also has a strong narrative. Human beings think in terms of narrative, in terms of stories. And Justin Bieber has a strong story, and he repeats it relatively often, which is smart. He talks about being a regular kid from a small town, lower middle class background, who simply had his mom posting videos on YouTube, and look where he is today. It's a compelling story. First of all, because it's by all accounts true, and second, it even though he's Canadian, it really speaks to the American dream, and probably the Canadian dream too. I'm American, so I'm not as familiar with the Canadian dream, but it's a classic story of someone from more humble origins making it big through hard work and utilizing their talent. So his media savvy is going to serve him well in the long term and help him have a long, prosperous career. Fifth reason I think he's going to be successful long term is that Justin is competitive. And you see this in the sports he's played, whether it's basketball, hockey, skateboarding. The way he talks, he has that what I call an athletic mindset of always wanting to excel and improve his skills and compete and win. That's going to go a long way into helping him stay successful. He's obviously very successful now, but I'm arguing that he's going to remain successful for a long time to come. And it's not just in sports. That's simply where you can see it the most. But if you listen to some of his interviews and read some about him, you see this competitiveness coming through. The sixth reason and final reason is that he possesses poise. As the dictionary.com defines it, poise is a dignified, self-confident manner or bearing, composure, self-possession, to show poise in company. All you have to do is watch his interviews with adults. It's all adults that are doing the interviews by and large, and see how he comes across in this dignified, self-confident, composed manner. Again, that's going to bode well for him long term. He's able to handle difficult situations and remain confident, keep his head up even when the going gets tough. That and his competitiveness and the other skills and abilities I mentioned. So for those 6 reasons, I believe Justin Bieber, is going to have a long, prosperous career. Of course, only time will tell, but I'd be willing to bet money that I'm right. Thanks for listening.